This morning I'm going to make coconut chocolate chip cookies. They're low in carb and gluten-free. You want to make sure, of course, you have all your ingredients. And what I was thinking, I'm going to do probably like a little half and half. So on half my baking sheet, I'm going to have a mixture of coconut chocolate chip cookies. And then on the other half, I'm going to take out, make sure that I don't have coconut in it and just have some plain chocolate chip cookies, just so I get a little variety of both. Again, you want to make sure you have your bowls and everything and all your ingredients and all your utensils and tools. So let's begin. So at this point, you want to make sure that you have your oven preheated at 325 and that you have your baking sheet already lined with your parchment paper. And in a medium bowl, you're going to whisk your almond flour. So I have my almond flour here all ready to go. You're gonna, I'm not gonna add the coconut part yet, because remember, I'm gonna do half and half. So I am gonna do my baking powder. I'm gonna add my salt. And again, I'm gonna whisk together. Now, remember, if you're not going to do a half and half like what I'm doing, you're going to just keep it strictly coconut chocolate chip cookies. You would add your coconut in at this point, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to take this bowl, I'm going to put it to a side. In a large bowl, I've got my creamy butter, which is my grass-fed butter that I have here. I also have my Swerve Sweetener. You can use your sweetener preference that you'd like. And I kind of want you to beat in or whisk in, spoon in your vanilla. So I'm mixing all this together here. I'm gonna get my vanilla, pour that in. I want to make sure I blend in all these ingredients. And when you're beating vanilla, at this point, you're going to add your egg, a nice large egg. So my egg's in. I want to make sure that I get it all in and everything is well blended together. And at this point, you want to stir in your chips. So what I have here is 85% of the dark chocolate bar here. And they're 2 bars. So if you don't have your unsweetened chocolate chips, you're going to want to chop this up very fine before you add it to your recipe. Right now, I want to make sure I've got a great blend here before I do that. Now, when they're well combined, you're going to beat in your flour mixture until it's well done. So I want to make sure that I'm nicely combined here before I put in my flour mixture. And when I put in my flour mixture, I'm actually going to separate half of the dough, because remember, half of the dough I'm going to be making the coconut chocolate chip cookies, and the other half I'm going to be just doing chocolate chip cookies. So anybody who's going to get to taste these yummy cookies need to be well appreciative of how much hard work I'm putting into making sure that I finally chop up this chocolate bar here as fine as I possibly can. Oh, that was a lot of hard work to do that. So I hope every bite of the cookie people enjoy. So at this point now, you're going to beat in, mix in your dry mixture. So let's add that here. Make sure we get it all. Give it a good mix together. Get this well blended, and then you're going to add your chips. And remember, at this point, if you are making coconut chocolate chip cookies, your coconut would be in here. I'm going to blend this together really well, and then I'm going to separate into a small little bowl and add my coconut. Of course, I did half the amount of the coconut, since we're doing half the amount of the cookies. Make sure this is well blended. Get those sides. No one left behind. Or no ingredient left behind, I should say. So at this point, you know, you're going to be pressing them into a small little ball about the heel of your hand. And then make them about a 1/4 inch of thickness. Alright, so this looks very well blended here. I'm going to add in my hard-earned chips. All of it. You deserve to all be in there. Oh, that looks overpowering. Looks like a lot in it. It's okay. You well deserve it. It did say 3.5 ounce. And that's what I had in those 2 bars. I mean, 1 bar each. So together it came to 3.5. So you want to make sure you well blend that in. All ingredients together now. And once I blend this in well, you can start to form the ball. But again, if you're going to do a half and half mixture like me, I'm going to take a half of my mixture and put it in a separate bowl and just add the coconut to this one and mix again. Remember to make sure that your oven is on 325 and it's ready to go, preheated. When you're baking, you're going to bake for 12 to 14 minutes. Now again, depending on your oven, it will vary. So like for me, I've gotten to know my oven quite well. So if it told me 12 minutes, I'm going to be looking at 9 or 10, you know, keeping a close eye. Alright, so I think this is well blended enough. I'm going to take half my mixture out to have just chocolate chip cookies, and the other half I'm going to have coconut. So the coconut is in there, and then I also have my bowl of just for the chocolate chips. So I'm going to blend this coconut in here as good as possible, and we're going to get them on the cookie sheet and get these yumminess baked up and ready to go. So because I'm doing half and half, I'm going to start with the chocolate chip cookie part, because then when I'm done, whatever of the little bit of mixture that I get on my hands, it's okay to blend with the coconut because that's the last one. I like to work with a teaspoon. It helps me to form the shape, but not even just form the shape. It helps me to try to keep the pieces as even as possible. So I take my, about that size, or you could do a little bit more. And I'm going to round it into a ball, and I'm going to get them onto the sheet. So let's do that now. So I was able to make 15 chocolate chip cookies, and there you have them there out of the dough. And now let's get the coconut ones on there and get these lovely yummy treats into the oven. So when I said it serves about 12 to 14, remember that you're dealing with two cookies each for the serving, so you should yield about smallish, about 28 to 30 cookies, depending on the size that you make your cookies. So for some reason I did use the teaspoon, but I was able to get 36 cookies. So you want to divide that up if you're going to be exact with your macros and your nutrition facts. I'm going to press them down and get them into the oven right about now. Remember, oven is on 325, about 12 to 14 minutes you should bake, but keep a very close eye on them. You're waiting until just the beginning of the edges to get barely brown and firm to touch. So at this point you want to use the heel or your finger to press down, keep them in shape. So there you have it, some lovely pressed down dough ready to go into the oven. One. In the oven they go. Do not forget to put your timer on. So my timer hasn't quite come off, and there it is. But I looked at the cookies and oh my, let's see here. The edges are definitely golden brown. So again, it all depends on your oven. Out of the oven they go. And I'm glad that I actually came to do a quick check on them to see the progress. So there you have it. Lovely set of cookies here, which I'm going to leave here to cool. The oven is off. And there you have it. You have your coconut chocolate chip cookies. And you also have your chocolate chip cookies. Yummy and ready to go. You've got to love that parchment paper, as you could just quickly just grab them off the cookie sheet and then put them on another place to cool. So I hope you try this recipe out and enjoy.